Good morning and welcome to Freedom Stein Laboratory. Today is the 11th day of December, and this is going to be a quick one because I'm doing it before I have to go to work. But after watching everything that happened with Tucker Carlson, Erika Kirk, and Candace Owens yesterday, wow, I have a few things to talk about. So, as you guys, if you've been watching anything I've been doing, I've been trying to give Erika Kirk the benefit of the doubt because she's a grieving widow. I can't imagine how horrific it is what she's been through. I know behind the scenes a little bit about her Christian walk, or at least I think I know a little bit about it. I'm not giving her the benefit of the doubt anymore. Let me just start with saying at first, we weren't really hearing anything from Erika Kirk about the assassination, any of the conspiracy theories, anything like that. She was just kind of leaving it alone. So, in the back of my mind, I kind of wondered, since Candace had been so close to Charlie Kirk, maybe she was pretty close to Erika too. And maybe Erika's the one who's feeding her some of the information because she'd know everything. Because remember at the very beginning, we were told that Erika said, I know everything. And we wondered what that everything was. I'm not so sure now. Then we changed that a little bit and did start talking about conspiracy theories. She was on with Jesse Waters. She went on the live tour with Megyn Kelly. And she hinted towards understanding why people, have questions and, it's okay to have questions and stuff like that. She wasn't patting anything down. She wasn't saying stop. And Candace Owens said early on, if Erika Kirk comes out and tells me to stop, I will stop. So then we got to there. So we've gone from not commenting about the conspiracy theories to, I'm not really going to say a whole lot about them. I'm just letting them do their thing, whatever. To yesterday was scorched earth, righteous anger. How do you go from over here to that? I don't understand. It'd be one thing if like Candace came out and said, Erika Kirk actually shot the gun that took out Charlie. Then I could see righteous anger and stuff like that. But how do you go from this to this extreme? And folks, the the only thing I could think of is Candace is getting damn close. She's getting close to whatever it is, and now we have full on panic, which means Erika knows stuff. And it's interesting that she comes out with this right after we have Candace Owens saying, hey, I've got this guy who goes back to the Reagan era, and he was involved in some shady stuff back there with the Iran-Contra thing, and he had to go into witness protection. He signed an NDA that will end this year, so now it's over. So he wants some justification. He wants some protection. He wants to know what happened to himself. He wants information. So he goes to Arizona. He's under the pseudonym of Harry. And wherever he ended up going, I can't think of the name of it. My wife has actually been to this location, so she knows the name better than I do. But anyway, whatever base or something that he was at, he sees that there's this meeting going on with all these lieutenant colonels, and there was more lieutenant colonels than you would ever have at a meeting unless you're like in Washington, D.C. with the president or at the Pentagon. So what are all these guys doing over in Arizona? It's really weird. And it's funny watching people say, wow, Candace has really gone off the deep end now. She's gone really crazy. And I think to myself, I want whatever Candace has taken because her world is very fun. You couldn't write this stuff. And supposedly Candace is just making it up. You don't make up this stuff unless you have some kind of goods with it. And I just really feel like she's got the goods. So let's go ahead and I want to play Erika Kirk making this appearance on Outnumbered yesterday on Fox. And she was talking to Harris Faulkner, who I really do like Harris, but this was like, I'm totally on your side and we're going to let you say whatever you want. I'm not going to question any of these things and that kind of thing. So, oh, wait, let me make sure. Hang on. I want to make sure I've got the sound on here too. I'm sorry. As you can see, I mean, if anything, I am very authentic, guys, because I really am not an expert at any of this stuff. So I hope you like my authenticity. All right, here we go.
Come after me, call me names, I don't care. Call me what you want, go down that rabbit hole, whatever. But when you go after my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk Show family, when you go after the people that I love and you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single episode.
Okay. I have to stop her right there. Hundreds of thousands of dollars every episode. Candace is only doing what she always does. This is her job. Okay. So you can't get after her because she's just continuing to do her job. I've already shown on other videos that I've made that Candace is really not getting any more viewership than she was before. Maybe there's been a little bit of an uptick. But one thing we know for sure, it just came out a couple days ago that this woman made $10 million on people just donating money simply to, oh my gosh, she's a widow with 2 children she's got to raise now. Let's send them money. So she just made $10 million just for herself and her kids because people were taking pity on them, not realizing that they were worth millions already. So I was like, I'm not donating to Erika Kirk. I mean, yes, I love Charlie and I want to make sure she's okay, but she's okay. They were millionaires. She's fine. And that's just her personally. Candace was talking about $140 million this thing has probably pulled in. TPUSA, when I say this thing, has pulled in since Charlie Kirk's death. Who has made the most amount of money off of Charlie Kirk? I would say it's TPUSA. They just had a thing at Mar-a-Lago and made $40 million a few nights ago, too. They were charging, I don't know how much a plate. It's just, so when she's starting to bring up money, I'm like, don't bring up money, Erika. Please don't bring up money because you don't look good.
Going after the people that I love because somehow they're in on this. No.
You know, I have to say it. I've never seen you like this.
No, this is righteous anger.
Yeah, because we're getting close.
This is not okay. It's not healthy. This is a mind virus.
No.
Yes, I believe in our
Was it a mind virus when all of us came out and said, you don't need to be wearing masks and don't take that vaccine? Was that a mind virus? We were all called crazy, shut down, that kind of thing, too. And who was right?
Just judicial system. I do.
You can't even say judicial.
We have a hell of a team working on this. Excuse my French. But this is not okay.
So you want to put these people back in the box where they've been creeping from?
Of course.
I don't care what box you're in. But just know that your words are very powerful, and we are human. My team are not machines, and they're not robots. They are human. We have more death threats on our team and our side than I have ever seen. I have kidnapping threats. I have, you name it, we have it. And my poor team is exhausted. And every time they bring this back up, what are we supposed to do? Relive that trauma all over again? They watched my husband get murdered. I have no idea how I would have reacted if I was there that day. And thank the good Lord that I did not have to see that happen. But my team, they are rocked to the core. So why every single day do they have to be dragged through the mud, analyzed, hyper-analyzed?
You know,
sit in a corner and cry and be in fetal position. This is a duty to my husband, and it's an absolute honor, and I will never back down. And so my message to them is to stop. To stop.
Okay, so now she's telling Candace to stop. And, you know, Candace said, well, I will stop if I'm told to stop. But at this point, I think Candace now realizes, because Candace hasn't said anything bad about Erika. That's what's funny about this whole thing, or ironic, I guess, is that Candace hasn't said anything about Erika, even though everybody's trying to say she has. I have literally watched everything Candace has done. She's never once said anything untoward about Erika until last night. And it's the same thing here. I'm sorry, now we're going to put the magnifying glass on you. This was, I mean, again, another PR blunder like you wouldn't believe. And she brings up Nehemiah in this thing. Now, she didn't do it here in this little clip that's here, but in it, she quotes the Bible, and she's talking about Nehemiah. For people who don't know, Israel has come out of captivity. They've rebuilt the temple, but they don't have their protective walls around the city anymore. And so they're still getting overrun, and all this other bad stuff is happening to them. So they need the wall of protection. And Nehemiah begins building it while everybody's going, oh, you know, that's a waste of time. What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And Nehemiah wants to honor God. And so he starts building this wall. And Erika was also asked about, you know, there's people saying that Charlie hasn't been buried yet. And so she's like, can you just give my children and me this one thing, this one thing? I understand you don't want people to know where Charlie's buried because, you know, there are idiots out there that would desecrate a grave, and there are things you can do to protect a grave. For those who don't know, I have another podcast that's about haunted history, and we do a lot on cemeteries. I know a ton about cemeteries and burial, more than you'd ever want to know about the death industry. There's a lot of stuff you can do to protect a body. And they used to do it back in the day because of body snatching and stuff. I mean, if anything, you could put wire gates. I mean, there's so much you can do. In the back of my mind, I was thinking, at a time when back in the day when it was winter, you couldn't get into the ground because you didn't have the kind of equipment we do today. So they would put bodies in these receiving tombs and keep them there during the winter until they could, the ground thawed and they could bury them. Or sometimes you'd put them in there if they were a wealthy person and having a mausoleum built for themselves. And I'm thinking, Charlie, they should make a mausoleum for him. I think he deserves a mausoleum. He's clearly got plenty of money for that kind of thing. So maybe they're building a grand memorial for him. But then just say that. Don't come out here and get crazy about, how dare you? And this is for me and my children, because Candace pointed out on her episode that was a rebuff, I guess, to Erika here, or a response to Erika. You were the one who showed that really creepy video of you over Charlie in the casket and touching his hands and telling him how much you loved him. And it was a really, really intimate moment. It was something that probably shouldn't have been shared publicly. You weren't private about that, but now all of a sudden you want to be really private about stuff. I mean, it's just like when people are poking holes, I just, when you scream really loud about something, you draw attention to that, because if people are like, why thou doth protesteth too much kind of thing. But anyway, through this whole process, she was talking about what we are focused on at TPUSA is rebuilding. And then she compared it to Nehemiah. So I think what she was trying to say is, like Nehemiah building the wall of protection. That's what we're doing. We're building whatever. You're building all right. You're building a huge, huge money-making machine, more than Charlie could have ever dreamed of. And I don't know. When somebody says that's all that we're working on is building TPUSA, for me personally, if something were to happen to my wife, she's the love of my life. I don't know how I would even function for the first month, much less maybe the first 2 months. If I had to go out and she was a public figure and I had to speak about her publicly and she was assassinated publicly, I probably wouldn't even wear any makeup, because I'm like, okay, do I look awful without my makeup on? Or do I look awful because it's just everywhere? Because I would be crying. I mean, I would have snot coming out of my nose. It would be ugly crying all the time. We have not seen Erika Kirk ugly cry anywhere. We've seen the little dabbing at her tears, and everybody's like, oh, she's so strong. I'm not going to judge somebody on your grieving, but I would cry at least. I listen to far too much true crime to let somebody get away with not crying when your spouse has died, because that is always a surefire sign that there is something nefarious there. And because she isn't just like crying like crazy. And what about her children? They lost their father. And has she been with them? I mean, she's been doing this show and this show and this podcast and this podcast. And now she's on a book tour and doing all kinds of events. And I mean, I just don't know when she has time for her children. So now I'm not giving her the benefit of the doubt anymore. And I do have to wonder what's going on there. And thank you to Tucker Carlson, who finally came out and said something. We've all been sitting here going, what does Tucker think? Tucker won't come out and say anything. Come on, Tucker. And he came out and said what a lot of us are feeling. I love all of these people, and it's paining me to see them fighting. But in the end, Tucker said, basically, he's with Candace. I'm watching what's unfolding over here with Candace. Really, what is happening is a lot of these guys know that Candace is onto something, but they don't want to get muddy. So they're letting Candace get muddy. And finally, Tucker is getting into the mud a little bit with her. And I have no doubt when all is said and done, I don't know if it's going to be 6 months from now, Tucker will have his own special where he unravels this stuff, because this is what he does. I mean, he finally did the thing with 9/11. It did take 20 plus years, but I'm totally with Candace. You can't make up the stuff that she's coming up with. And one of the other things that Candace pointed out is that she had somebody who was at the event that's going to come out here on the 13th with Erika Kirk and Barry Weiss on CBS, where they're doing a town hall. And there was a Candace listener in the audience who took notes and sent them to Candace. I didn't know this was going to be a pre-tape thing. I thought they were going to do it live, but apparently it was a pre-tape thing. And one of the comments that Erika makes supposedly, so it'll be interesting to see if this is really true, is she says, well, when it comes to the Egyptian planes, I was pregnant at the time, so I wasn't getting on any planes, especially an Egyptian plane. And Candace had the same reaction I did when I heard that. I went silent for a minute. It's like, what? She didn't say you were on a plane. She didn't say you were on an Egyptian plane. She actually was worried about you because she was like, these Egyptian planes, excuse me, these Egyptian planes look like they were going after, following Charlie around. And then when she looked at it really closely, she's like, no, wait, looks like they were mostly following Erika around. Why were they following Erika? And I got the feeling that Candace was concerned about why were these people following her? But then when Erika comes out and says, I wasn't on any Egyptian planes. Wait, nobody said you were. When people do that, it's like a confession, isn't it? When you say that, it's like saying the soft part out loud. You weren't supposed to say that, Erika, because now we're all going, so you were on an Egyptian plane. So these Egyptian planes weren't following you around. You were on them? And why were you on them? Man, I have so many more questions now. And, I've seen all the stuff that's been coming out about Erika and, her parents being part of Raytheon and doing a lot of stuff with that certain country over in the Middle East and just so many things. And the facade has crumbled. Yesterday was not a good thing for Erika Kirk. And I just wait with my popcorn to see what else we're going to get. Would love to know your thoughts down in the comments, please. If you are enjoying what you see here, like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And sharing it is wonderful too. Have a great day.